Since its launch in 2019, the new Triumph Rocket 3 has had a sizable number on its back and in many eyes is the bike to beat in the heavyweight cruiser sector. But it's not without its rivals, and one has just arrived from Bavaria in the form of the new BMW R18. We've been lucky enough to swing a leg over both bikes now, so thought we'd give them a proper head-to-head. Before we get into it though, please if you could take a minute to like this video and subscribe to the channel by giving the notification bell a tap. It'll mean that you stay up to date with all of Visordown's latest videos. And don't forget to head over to visordown.com for all the latest motorcycle news, reviews and features. The R18 is BMW's first crack at a cruiser since the R1200C of the late 90s and early 2000s. That was a bike that was generally well received by journos and owners alike, although in the cold light of the 2020s it is about as attractive as a hungover Angela Merkel. For its second bite of the cruiser cake though, BMW was going to make no such errors, and it has absolutely nailed the styling of the big R18. It's totally unashamedly retro, with neat details and design flourishes everywhere you look. The engine is clearly the main focal point of the bike, with BMW highlighting it with neat chrome touches and of course those stunning looking faux exhausts. The Triumph, on the other hand, is a less rose-tinted take on the original Rocket 3, with a more modern look that, while it might date slightly faster than the authentic R18, is more likely to appeal to a more varied range of riders. The Rocket 3 also has a distinctly different stance. It's noticeably more upright and less laid back than the R18. You notice it while looking at the two bikes side by side, but it becomes majorly apparent when you plonk yourself in the seat. What else could power a BMW cruiser than a thumping great boxer twin? And it's not just any old thumping great boxer twin either. The R18's monster lump is bespoke for this range of bikes and claims the gong of being the biggest engine of this configuration that the brand has ever produced. To match the bike's authentically retro styling, the engine is provided with a lazy and understressed state of tune. The 90 bhp is fairly well hidden by the bulk of the bike, although progress can still be swift if you make best use of the thick spread of torque. After spending a fair few hundred miles on the bike, I couldn't help feeling that the motor is extremely restricted. It just feels like it just needs a little bit more power, a slightly higher redline and a more rebellious exhaust note. Sure, for proper cruising, in inverted commas, the setup is fine, but as the Rocket 3 proves, a cruiser doesn't have to stick to the straights or abide by the speed limits. At the heart of the Rocket 3 is the largest production three-cylinder engine in a motorcycle to date. The whopping great 2,458cc lump churns out an endless torque curve at pretty much any RPM. It also has power to match, with a super naked beating 165 bhp, arriving 1,000 RPM before the red line of 7,000 is hit. While it's true that the Rocket 3 can set your pulse racing like few other motorcycles on the road, it's also a beast that can be tamed by anyone. The ride-by-wire throttle is a work of art, and all that torque on demand means you can pretty much leave it in third gear and enjoy the road ahead without too much planning. Its three-cylinder layout is also extremely smooth, a standout feature in a class that's dominated by big twin-cylinder machines that shake your fillings out at every available opportunity. Out on the road, the big R18 is a rewarding bike to ride fast, with just the slightly jarring ride over bumps spoiling the fun. I've got to admit, at one point I did manage to get both wheels off the ground and my arse out of the seat on one particularly bad bump in the road. I think we can chalk that one down as a code brown moment. Bum-clenching moments aside, the bike's wide bars provide ample leverage and allow you to drop the bike into turns with surprising speed. It holds the line well, and lean angle is only really limited by the low mid-set foot pegs. And while we're on the subject of mid-set foot pegs, the R18's riding position, it is a bit at odds with the cruiser design. The barrels of that mammoth twin poke out on each side of the bike, meaning the BMW seems to have no method of mounting forward controls to it. This forces the rider into a seating position that is a little bit reminiscent of sitting on the loo. It's comfortable for a time and then a bit torturous on your lower back after a day in the saddle. The Rocket 3 is a totally different vibe from the seating position and handling fronts. For starters, you sit very much on the bike as opposed to in it with the R18. It also comes in R form with mid-set pegs, although it can be spec'd with forward controls as seen on the GT2. Handling-wise, the Rocket 3 blurs the lines between cruiser and super naked, reminding me on the launch in Tenerife of a beefed up and oversized speed triple on the island's stunning mountain roads. The Rocket also has more to offer on the suspension front, with adjustability at both ends, while the R18 only has preload adjustment at the rear, and that's once the seat is removed. It's a neat touch and one that should allow an owner to tune the Rocket 3 to their particular riding style or for carrying a pillion and some luggage. It's a point I've made before, but a valid one when talking about this bike. If you want a machine that will keep up with your mates on their 1000cc sports bikes and nakeds on a spirited ride out, the Rocket 3 along with the Ducati Diavel are two of the few bikes in this class that can actually truly keep up. Okay, like any head-to-head, there will be those that see the benefit of one bike more than the other, and these two are no different. For me though, it comes down to two factors. Do you want to get out on the bike or gaze at it? The R18 it is an absolutely stunning machine to look at, the kind of which we haven't really seen from BMW ever. It's also so authentic in its riding dynamics, it always kind of left me feeling a bit cold on that front. Yes, it is totally true to the cruiser style, with looks, handling and performance that are all very much on trend. But as Triumph has shown with the Rocket 3, a cruiser can have show and go. If you're looking for a bike to enjoy on those high days and holidays when the sun is bright in the sky, the Beamer is a very safe bet. You'll turn heads everywhere you go, and I guarantee you'll never get bored of the way it looks. But if you want a bike that you can ride as hard and as fast as pretty much anything else on the road, cruiser or not, there isn't much on two wheels that can get close to the Rocket from the Midlands. I hope you've liked that video. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you can stay up to date with all of Visordown's latest videos. For the latest news, reviews and motorcycle features, get yourself over to visordown.com.